Princess Libertia was a villainess who constantly tormented the pure and innocent heroine. Moreover, she would also harass anyone who crossed her path. Eventually, she met a fitting end, dying in a dismal and degrading prison after enduring torture. Many believed that the greedy Princess Libertia would not have lived a long life anyway. She just died sooner and in a more painful manner than expected. But there is no need to be sad. After all, Princess Libertia was someone who was already ill. Even the Crown Prince tried to console the crying heroine by saying that the illness was simply the end result. The heroine was a fan of the elegant and sophisticated Princess Libertia, so when she read those words, she wanted to tear the book apart. However, she decided to read until the very end, and what she found left her in disbelief. The love story between the innocent heroine Ariel and the obsessive crown prince ended tragically. Ariel, with her innocent appeal, charmed people and became the recipient of their love. But in the end, Princess Libertia, who was terminally ill, would be defeated, and Ariel would achieve her final goal of being joined with the crown prince in a grand marriage. Had the story simply ended with the marriage, it would have been fine. However, they all died. Understandably, one could argue that Princess Libertia, being the villainess, deserved her fate. But what about the charismatic secondary leads? 2 of them died, and 2 other supporting characters were swept into the deadly whirlpool of romance between the 2 main leads and perished. Even the final villain, Daniel, did not make it out unscathed. Such a destructive couple left the reader so angry that she wanted to rip the book apart. Even if she had torn it up and trashed the book 10 times over, it wouldn't have been enough. Had she known she would end up in a similar situation, she would have destroyed that book. One eventful summer day, she woke up to find herself in the body of her favorite character, Princess Libertia, from the novel. The novel had stated that Princess Libertia had no one to love her, even when she did nothing wrong. People called her a villain ever since she was born, and it was all because of her mother. The person who forced her family to retire from politics was Libertia's mother, Lycian Vance, the real villain who prejudiced her daughter into the role of a villainess. This was something Ariel could never understand. That person made it impossible for her to tell anyone, even though it hurt so much. No, that wasn't all. Libertia preferred to die as a villain rather than as a lunatic. As she looked at the heroine through the bars, she grinned, having decided to die as a villain because she wanted to die as one. In the end, it was because of the people that she took such an extreme step, tormenting those they loved without lifting a finger. However, in the second half of the story, it was revealed that Princess Libertia was terminally ill. At least now, no one would remember her as a lunatic. But even then, those characters didn't draw much attention because she was already the perfect villain. But she doesn't want anyone to misunderstand. This was never because of the heroine to begin with. She is here because of her own choices. She has no regrets, not even one. An unbothered, happy expression settled on her face. This was exactly when Ariel's place in her heart was swapped out for Princess Libertia. The princess was so cool, pretty, and just all around amazing. She was fangirling over Princess Libertia right now. But she never wanted something like this. This is 3 months before the onset of the original novel, just before the princess is about to turn 19 years old. Princess Libertia opened her eyes in the morning and said to herself, "She's thirsty." The one who was occupying her body was her. Her memories of her past life were blurry and fragmented, but at the very least, she remembered that she was not Libertia. First of all, she still clearly remembered how she died. Secondly, she remembered reading the original novel. And above all, there was no way she should look like this. Her appearance in her past life, from the color of her eyes to her hair, was nothing particularly special. In other words, the appearance she now had was not the one only her father ever thought of as pretty. Radiant platinum hair, mysterious purple eyes, alabaster skin, Libertia was truly beautiful beyond words. She looked at herself, thinking she was pretty, but was shocked that she would die so young, without even having gone on a single date and from torture too. Even if she managed to escape the torture route, she would die soon anyway. And the elegant Libertia herself was nowhere to be seen. As to why she would be here, taking on this appearance, the thought was frightening. There wasn't enough time. She fell on her bed and began to cry, wanting her old life back. However, instead she could save Libertia, and so she spent the next week crying. In her dream, she was confronted by Princess Libertia, and she was struck. She questioned if, by chance, she was Libertia Uni. However, she questioned why the hell she would be her Uni. But Libertia responded that it was just a title she gave her. Libertia, seeming annoyed, told her to forget it, but to listen to her words carefully. The new Libertia looked at her with admiration and told her to go ahead. Robertia informed her she came to give her the solution to her illness. But Libertia revealed that the illness had no cure. The only thing that could be done was to calm the pain with medication. The disease had worsened until that very moment. However, as she looked at her hand, Libertia commented that she wasn't in pain. That was because she wasn't the rightful owner of that body. Such a thing was strange, but being reincarnated into the world inside a novel was already pretty abnormal. She questioned how she would get better. Libertia revealed that the true nature of the disease was that it affected the soul. That was also part of the reason why it was incurable, and also the reason why she had called her there. This confused her, but when Libertia clasped her hand, she said she was the one who had summoned her. She inquired how and why. Libertia explained that she read the book and died at the right time. Laughing, she said that she picked someone who met all the conditions. Libertia thought she was very fortunate, getting to live twice and see her idol in person. But then, Libertia suddenly declared that she was indeed a fortunate person since, unlike her, she wouldn't have to die. The disease affected the soul, but because that soul had changed, once her soul and body became one, the disease would disappear. The protagonist admitted that it was really an incredible after-service. However, as Libertia revealed, she will coughed up blood. She got cold feet and began to shiver. But Libertia, unfazed, told her that she would find the memories within the body over the next year. Until she found each memory, she would vomit blood due to the damage to her soul. Libertia had left behind exactly 100 memories, so she would be fine if she found one every 3 days. Libertia said this with a mischievous grin. With a pale face, she inquired if she would vomit blood every 3 days. Libertia, matter-of-factly, exclaimed that she was right. Libertia said such scary words so sweetly. It was just as she expected from her. With trembling hands, she inquired if it was safe, but Libertia just reassured her. She just needed to endure it for 1 year. Until she became one with the body, she would remain terminally ill, and she would continue to vomit blood. On top of that, her overall health wouldn't be good. Instead of dying from the disease, she wondered if she wouldn't just end up dying from puking blood. She was trembling in fear, but Libertia, with a smirk, said she had very kindly arranged for a memory to emerge by itself every 3 days. If she was unable to find one in that amount of time, she should be grateful. Princess Libertia was beautiful but also terrifying. Libertia commented that she wouldn't feel any of the pain until she found the last memory. However, there was a very important question. Why were all her words so seductive and cold? Libertia turned nervous, stating that she didn't want someone like her to get caught up in this mess. She liked her even more than when she was reading the book. Meeting Princess Libertia in person was a truly special feeling, and so she came to like Princess Libertia even more. However, that didn't seem to be the case for Libertia. So, she quickly questioned if there was anything she should do with this body in exchange for obtaining a new life. Revenge, perhaps? Something like that. Princess Libertia was a goddess who met a tragic death, so it was entirely possible. Though, truthfully, she had no desire to carry out revenge because she had originally liked many of the other characters too. She must admit that she likes all of them except for the heroine and the male lead. However, if Libertia is the one who gave her a new life, she'll try her best to do whatever she can. However, there was no such request. Libertia urged her to live freely since it's her life now. Suddenly, she disappears, but before doing so, she decided to return all of the original memories from the story that she's familiar with. Her body's previous memories will then return in chronological order. She wishes her luck. At the end of those words, she woke up. After meeting Princess Libertia, her week-long feeling of uncertainty ended. She decided to accept reality. The complete disappearance of the death route was enough to get her act together. She believed it was time to celebrate. She gets out of bed and puts paper on the table. She doesn't plan on watching the original story unfold. 3 months from now, when the male and female leads become the main characters, either way, the villainess is out of the picture. The story will differ from what she currently knows. Above all, it's because crossing paths with them will be uncomfortable. She feels as though she will still be doomed. Even if she doesn't stand out as a villainess, there's only one thing she's aiming for: to meet all the characters she likes before the story starts. The original story will start on the day of the country's birth. According to her calculations, that's 3 months from now. Because of the rumors about the villainess that were spread by her sister's mother, even with her being here, there's nothing she can do to make them disappear, so she'll just forget about them. She'll be leaving this place in 3 months anyway. The prince is obsessed with things that belong to him, so it's better to give up on Libertia's succession to the imperial throne in order not to provoke him. When she's done that, she should be free to pick and choose the people she'd like to meet within these 3 months. This is an awesome opportunity to change all the unfortunate events that happened in the original plot. The villainess supported the male characters and other supporting characters that she liked when treated very well. The story of the book's female protagonist, Ariel, begins in earnest as she makes her way to the capital. The most important thing is that the protagonist is a surprisingly obsessive man. Because of the female protagonist's innocent and naive charm, many people were attracted and fell victim to her. She really liked the people who were tossed aside, so she doesn't really know how the plot ended. To summarize, the first supporting male lead is Sir Eugene D. Bolton. He fell in love with the female lead, so he truthfully claimed that he was the villainess's spy. But because of the prince's jealousy, he falls into a trap and dies. The next male supporting character is Duke Cain D'Eric. He protected the female lead because he loved her, but because of the princess's jealousy, he lost an arm along with his honor. Lastly, the third male supporting character is the guildmaster Ares. Despite knowing that he was in the prince's trap, he also loved the female lead and protected her until his dying breath. Furthermore, as the female protagonist's true friend, Miss Yvonne had to give up her love and her dreams. Jane, a maid who was saved by the female lead, also had to die for her. Even the final boss, Daniel, became a victim. Because of them, Daniel lost his precious friend, Harris. No wonder he became a villain. After analyzing everything, it's obvious that everyone was used just to make Ariel stand out. Or maybe they were used to expose the princess's brutality. She's aware of this medieval story, so she can just watch and ignore all this. But before the original plot begins, she can change the situation just a little bit so that she can live a safe life. To begin with, Louver and Ariel will fall in love and get married regardless of the existence of the supporting characters. So that's why she is not going to mess with them at all. That includes her as well as her favorite supporting characters. She's uncertain about one person, Daniel, the leader of the assassination guild and a friend of the supporting male character. He's the person who died peacefully after giving the female and male protagonist their last ordeal. Unlike the other 3 male supporting characters, nothing aside from his brown hair was revealed about his appearance. Despite that, his identity is quite attractive. He is the last remaining member of the royal family of a country that was invaded and destroyed by the Empire. He's the only person she's worried about meeting. Compared to the others, it looks like there isn't much she can do for him. She decides to hold off on him for now. Among these male supporting characters, she was on friendly terms with Harris, so she could still run into Daniel regardless of her decision. If they do meet, she'll definitely uncover his secrets. Other than that, she's allowed to do that much at least. Inside the palace, the maids tell her to rest. She tells the maid to carry on while she scribbles something down. She thinks that the maids Irene, Renee, and head maid Emma was out of her mind for a week. Emma was worried about her then and got her the other palace maids. These 2 were the only ones who actually assisted. It wasn't that big of a deal, but they still treated her kindly, especially Emma, because they were the last part of the servants to stand by the princess's side. She waves goodbye to Emma. It's surprising that someone like her would wave goodbye with such a calm smile. When they close the doors, the room becomes dizzy. She feels exhausted just from eating and sleeping well. Labertia had said that she would feel sick, but it would be cured once this body and soul completely became one. Currently, this body of hers is sick. Now that she thinks about it, even before Labertia's illness was revealed in the novel, whenever she was alone, she would often stumble, her face pale and drenched in cold sweat. The way she wiped her lips was described as being very natural and captivating. This is a scene where she personally wanted to help her. Besides her health, her past self that was dead is now in this body, but it will be problematic if it continues. If she keeps getting these animated episodes, then her plans for the next 3 months will be ruined. She needs to see the Emperor as well regarding relinquishing her rights to the throne. Also, she should see a doctor immediately, but it really doesn't hurt anywhere. Seriously, she can't feel any pain. She wanted to raise the pharmacy, but she didn't see the sign that pointed to the pharmacy. Luckily, there's an exclusive doctor in the princess's palace not too far from her room. The doctor comes to greet her and inquires if she's not feeling well. She realizes that Labertia probably never visited this doctor because she was extremely careful about others finding out about her illness, but she doesn't really care. She tells the doctor that she wants to undergo a villianess examination as soon as possible. Whether or not other people find out about this illness, she will do as she pleases these next few months and then leave this palace. The villianess examination is what this world calls a very thorough medical checkup. The examination provides a detailed insight into the body. It scans and examines every small part of the body, and only doctors who can control mana can carry out such examination. Labertia's sickness can only be diagnosed by this inspection. The novel, she had taken this examination just once when she was little but refused to do it ever again. Doctor inquires if she feels unwell, as it would be helpful if she were to tell him her symptoms first. However, she informed him that there are no particular symptoms, she just feels really tired. He nodded his head seemingly to understand the situation. Suddenly she informs him that she is also coughing up blood. The doctor is surprised. She had only coughed blood because she recovered Labertia's first memory. She doesn't trust rocks, but she had to tell him the truth. After all, it will be incredibly difficult to take care of herself if she would vomit blood constantly. However, besides that there are no other symptoms,